A rumor is doing the round that the sun and the moon lighted the hearts in Ravana's kitchen. This is a pure hogwash. In fact, people whose sense of judgment has been polluted by the demoniac influence readily believe in such hearsay. Dear brethren, the sun and the moon are no human beings to work as attendants in Ravana's kitchen. You know, every human being has heat inside his body. In the case of Earth, the heat inside her is controlled by the sun and the moon. When the heat is intensified in the womb of Mother Earth by magical rites, fires break out in the mountains and elsewhere. So much heat is generated that even food can be cooked in it. In human body as well as on earth, heat beyond a limit gives rise to unhealthy conditions. The unscrupulous people create such unhealthy conditions inside Mother Earth, and in order to keep their sin as a closely guarded secret, spread the rumors which make people with a deluded mind believe in the story that the sun lighted Ravana's heart. The simple, gullible people fail to understand why Mother Earth has developed various diseases, ecological and environmental disasters. They may tear Earth apart by their black magic, and yet the people at large will not know the secret behind it. They do not realize that Mother Earth is as much a living entity as a human body. Mother Earth suffers in the same way as a human body when she contracts any ailment. The intense heat in Mother Earth's womb makes her dull and dreary as a faded flower. She stops consuming nutrients, and a variety of worms and microbes grow in her womb. One can easily imagine how Mother Earth must be suffering should such a situation arise. The demoniac rites performed on the 84 Lakundis, cursing Mother Earth with extreme intensity of heat and cold. The manifestations are disastrous. The walls of houses and forts start burning. The ignorant masses take it as a natural disaster because the unscrupulous element who are the engineer of such calamities would not let people know about their misdeeds. With their demoniac magic, they can cause blazing fire instantly. They are capable of even bringing the sun and the moon closer to earth. In the earlier eras, people could come to know about the demoniac powers which some individuals possessed, and so they could devise how to disempower them. As a result, their demoniac science was diffused and their entire clan was wiped out, fearing the same fate. They do not dare tinker with the positions of the sun and the moon. They attribute the effects of their misdeeds to some holy men and float predictions of events much before they actually happen. In order to hoodwink the people at large, they circulate stories of miracles like the one of some Starbridge Fakir. The said Fakir, they say, skinned his body with his own hands, with the result that his flesh uncovered by the skin was showing on his body. Nobody would allow him to be around. He brought a lump of meat from a butcher and wanted to roast it. Since nobody entertained him, He pulled the sun down and roasted the piece of meat with its seed and then ate it up. As a result, Earth as a whole started burning. This is a pure fiction. It cannot be true. How could the fakir with his skinned body escape from being roasted when the sun with its blazing heat was so close to him? How could he survive? Another thing, the master of the universe cannot set ablaze the whole world just to please one individual. Moreover, it is also beyond us to imagine that anybody can peel off his skin just as one takes off his clothes. This needs to be pondered over seriously. These are the stories circulated by the people with devilish intent. God has given us skin not to be peeled off so casually. A number of similar stories have also been circulated attributing such miraculous feats to some yatis, sages, who, according to them, had the power of bringing down the moon and the stars on the earth. Through these stories, they make people believe that when the sages and the fakirs, holy men, exercise their powers of bringing down the stars, Mother Earth develops one set of problems, and when the sun and the moon are brought down, another set of problems arises. On the one hand, these unscrupulous elements make people believe in these miracles, and on the other hand, they instill in the minds of some fakirs and sages that they actually possess miraculous powers. They are then prompted to tell others that they hold supernatural powers and can do miracles. Thus, they are made famous. Following in the footsteps of Ravana, the Banyas of the present era are throwing the dust in the eyes of the unsuspecting people by circulating stories of miracles. They are waiting till the people become fully convinced about the possibility of such miracles. Then one day, suddenly, these unscrupulous elements will attempt to disturb the solar system by their demoniac signs, resulting in great havoc wherein the great powers of the world will bite the dust and they will be ruling the entire world. Stories of saints and fakirs in India possessing amazing power are being spread worldwide. In course of time, the rest of the countries in Europe and elsewhere will be infested with such miracle-wielding holy men. People all over the world will be taken in by the game plan of the Mahajans, who have been telling people that it is the curse of the holy men which has brought the downfall of great emperors. As a matter of fact, the downfall is engineered by the Mahajans themselves. They have deluded the holy men who blurt out something or other incoherently as if these were the words of magical power. Simultaneously, the Mahajans perform the demoniac rites to curse the kings and the emperors. As a result, they start fighting and killing one another or are faced with some serious problem. Having lost their rational faculty, the kings and the emperors approach the so-called holy men to seek their blessings and forgiveness. They do not realize that the miracles attributed to the holy men are nothing but a means to hoodwink them. Even if the holy men are persuaded not to utter curses, the Banyas and Mahajans will bring disaster to them by means of their demoniac magic. Ravana had adopted the same modus operandi. He too circulated stories of holy men wielding miraculous powers. He made the holy men utter some words and sounds, and thereafter many kings and potents lost their empire and even their lives. Ravana did not spare even Lord Rama, who had to go to Banvas exile as a result of his demoniac magic. The Banyas too are using the holy men, the fakirs, as a cover to hide their magical rites. References of holy men wielding miraculous powers are found in some ancient books. Just look for these books and you will find in them references to the effect that such and such rulers, including the Britishers, will rule India for such and such period of time. Of those books are found in the homes of the Hindus and the Muslims. Some of you may have seen and even read these books. Books found in the Hindu homes bear the names of the Hindu holy men, while in books found in Muslim homes, names of Muslim fakirs are given. These books have been published and circulated by the unscrupulous Banyas. They have deliberately not claimed the authorship of these books so that their identity remains undisclosed. In this way, the axe will fall on the poor Hindus and the Muslims whose children will be done away with by the foreign rulers when they discover the contents of these books. These unscrupulous elements have created confusion in the minds of the foreign powers ruling India. Bereft of sense of judgment, these foreign rulers do not understand that prognosis made in these books cannot and will not do any harm to the world and its people. It is not the almanacs, but the demoniac rites performed on the 84 lakh kundis which bring disaster to the world, and the forecast made in the almanacs is proved true. The rulers of foreign land ruling India do not realize that until and unless the unscrupulous elements actually responsible for such disasters are caught and exposed, the current sequence of disasters, death and destruction will not stop and will take other countries in its grips. The unscrupulous Banyas would not let these rulers apply their minds and come to the right conclusion that these evil-minded elements are the real cause of their woes. It is they who have produced and circulated almanacs and other writings making ominous forecast, the sacred writings and scriptures preaching righteousness which date back to the Satya Yuga were taken by the Banyas in their possession. In their place, the Banyas circulated, just as Ravana did, fake and manipulated books with demoniac content. They make horrendous forecasts and then perform the sinful rites on the 84 lakh kundis, which results in the forecast becoming a reality. The Mahajans have circulated all sorts of stories making fearful prognosis. People are told that global warming will increase to such a high degree that the earth will turn copper red and water will start boiling as oil boils in a cauldron. Such stories are circulated much in advance so that when such phenomenon actually occurs, people will not know who caused it. Things are not as simple as we think them to be or as we describe or explain to others. It is like this. When our body is infected with some disease, it is very painful when some poisonous substance oozes out of ulcers. The intense heat generated in the body gives rise to a variety of diseases, which sometimes affects the brain. Sometimes some medicine works and one gets relief. Mother Earth is no different from a human body. After Raja Bal, the Mahajans have caused illness to Mother Earth by means of their Indrajal or black magic. The strength and vitality of Mother Earth has been sapped up to a great extent. All of us are witnessing it helplessly. Mountains, which are very vital for the sustainability of environment on the earth, are spewing fire in the form of volcanic eruptions. This is due to the illness of Mother Earth, which in turn has been caused by a kind of black magic. All the people of the world, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, and others, are watching it with horror. It is our common experience that when any part of our body, say foot, gets infected and is not cured, the body tissues start decaying. Exposure to heat creates severe burning sensation in the body. In the same way, Mother Earth, infected with diseases, suffers a lot. Mother Earth is as animate as a human being or any other living being. The hot water springs located at a number of places are also the manifestation of diseases caused to Mother Earth as a result of the sinful practice. In human body, any infection may turn blood into pus, the presence of which in the body creates pain and burning sensation. Identical situation can be found when Mother Earth becomes sick. The Saudagar Mahajans have been tormenting Mother Earth by their demoniac exercise, resulting in spells of extreme heat and cold weather. Extreme hot or cold weather. Unable to understand the mystery of Mother Earth's sickness, the people of the world readily believe in what has been stated in the dubious literatures. They have caused innumerable diseases to Mother Earth. Just look at the Ratnakara Sea. It has been afflicted by a serious disease, and that is why its water has become saline, not fit for human consumption. They are telling a different story in the context. They say that Lord Rama's curse has turned the seawater saline. It is their own doing, but they are passing on the blame to Lord Rama. This is not true. A major part of Mother Earth is covered with water. Water is at once life giver and savior. We owe our existence to water. Lord Rama too owes his life to water. Water is all merciful. The entire creation is a gift of water. Water is unaffected by any curse. The reason why the seawater is saline is that the Saudagar Mahajans are secretly performing some demoniac rites to curse Mother Earth. As a result, the digestive system of Mother Earth has become upset, which in turn has caused salinity in the seawater. In fact, what common people call sea or ocean is in fact the abdomen of Mother Earth. The rivers and rivulets constitute our alimentary canal. When we drink water, it passes through this canal and finally reaches our abdomen. Similarly, when it rains, the rainwater is consumed by Mother Earth. Through rivers, the rainwater reaches the sea. Now we know that the sea water is saline. Earlier, it was Raja Bal and presently the Banyas who are polluting water by their dubious practices known to us as Indrajal. Let me give you an analogy. When we eat or overeat something which remains undigested in our body, we feel pain in our stomach. The pain sometimes is so severe that nothing gives us relief. Mother Earth, in the same way, suffers from severe pain when her digestive system is disturbed. Now that the ecological system has been badly disturbed, the seawater has become saline. Besides, sometimes some ailment in our body makes our system so weak that nothing is digested, and the undigested food creates acidity and inflammation of the stomach, resulting in excruciating pain. The Saudagar Mahajans are inflicting the hot and cold disease to Mother Earth, causing severe imbalance in the nature by disturbing the atmospheric temperature, by practicing Indrajal. Frequent incidents of high tidal waves in the sea, day in and day out, is the manifestation of serious illness caused to Mother Earth. People during the days of Ravana were very pious. Their wisdom was captivated by Ravana. Under the spell of his demoniac signs, people had totally forgotten the existence of Svarga, the heaven. Ravana had taken over the heaven's regime. He lived in the heaven. The ancient scriptures say so. But the fact is that earth is both heaven and hell. This earth rears and shelters all the living beings of the world. The influence of Ravana's diabolism on the people was so overpowering that they failed to realize that the earth is a living entity. They really believed in what was presented to them. They took Ravana's 84 lakh kundis filled with blood and pass for heaven. When Ravana tore apart the earth's surface by his magic force, people thought that it was natural disaster willed by God. Little did they know that the incidence of landslide and earthquake was caused by Ravana, who was constantly tormenting Mother Earth. Ravana took advantage of the blissful ignorance of his people. He was convinced that if he continued to make the earth sick in one way or other, people would never know that he was behind it. He would then be the monarch of all he surveyed. If, on the other hand, he discontinued his activities, he feared he would be exposed, and then people would extirpate him and his entire race. Apprehending this, he resorted to his demoniac signs to destroy the wisdom of the people who lost touch with Mother Earth and various inflictions caused to her. Ravana and his sons alone knew about the real existence of Mother Earth. The ancient scriptures bear testimony to this fact. Subsequently, when suffering of earth became evident, people thought of saving the earth because their own existence depended on the well-being of the earth. They got united and killed Ravana and his sons. The world then got rid of Ravana's sinful activities. People took a sigh of relief. Lord Shanishtara had forewarned rulers of different kingdoms about the diabolism of Ravana. Lord Shanishtara had forewarned the rulers of different kingdoms about the diabolism of Ravana and told them why Mother Earth was suffering from a number of diseases. He told them that Ravana was tormenting him by means of his demoniac magic. He told the people of the world that Ravana was performing some sinful rites to curse Mother Earth. As a result, Mother Earth was suffering from all kinds of diseases. He caused fair winds on the surface of the earth, but people did not know that it was Ravana who, by means of his diabolism, was causing illness to earth. It was too much for Mother Earth to bear. When a man suffers from acute respiratory disorder or asthma, his pain is unbearable and sometimes he is about to breathe his last. Similar was the situation of earth attacked by fierce winds caused by the diabolism of Ravana. He practiced diabolism to inflict pain and suffering to earth in the form of innumerable diseases. The pious and righteous people of his time did not know the secret behind it. They could not believe that Mother Earth suffered from this sort of disorder. They simply could not think in that way. They were watching the fierce gales uprooting trees and bushes, and yet they did not realize that Mother Earth was suffering from a disease caused by diabolism. They did know that their very existence depended on Earth, who was rearing them like a mother, but they were blissfully unaware of her pain and suffering. When the crops of food grains and fodder were damaged owing to the ill health of earth, People were at a loss to understand its reason. They did not know that earth was suffering from some disease. They had forgotten about the existence of heaven. Heaven is an abode of comforts and bliss. They thought that if there was heaven, it was there on earth and nowhere else. The seers of those days have stated in their writings that they were not aware that Ravana had captured their sense of judgment by dint of his magical power, and therefore could not see that it was he who was causing illness to Mother Earth. When the wind is light and gentle, Mother Earth breathes in a normal way, and both human beings and animals feel pleasant. They say that Ravana could manipulate eclipse to the sun and the moon. What people do not understand is that such manipulation causes pain and suffering to Mother Earth. Those indulging in diabolism would not let the pious souls know about their misdeeds. It is mentioned in the scriptures and other ancient writings that the people of ancient times were basically devout and spent most of their time in chanting prayers, bhajans. They desisted from all kinds of wrongdoings. They were not at all greedy. They had a lot of piety and compassion. Even those devout people could not understand that earth is a living entity. Not to talk of the people of this era who have lost their sense of judgment under the diabolic influence, if the diabolic influence of the trading community. Now, there is no unity and affection left among brothers and sisters. Disaffection has developed and differences have widened. People during Ravana's time thought that the diabolism let loose by Ravana was the law of heaven. People in the present age have also fallen in the same trap, and they too believe that the disasters created by the Banyas are the doings of heaven. Like Ravana, the Banyas of the present day have locationed 84 lakh kundis filled with blood and pus somewhere within the deep sea in order to destroy the wind, in order to destroy the world and its environment. The diabolic game plan of Ravana was awe-inspiring to the people of the world. Similarly, people in the present age are overawed by the sinister delusion created by the trading community. Ravana's diabolic game plan was exposed by Shanishchara, who belonged to the Teli caste, a community engaged in producing edible oil. Finding him poor and helpless, Ravana bound Shanishchara by his demonic spell. When the mystery of Ravana's secret sins became known to Shanishchara, he instantly informed the kings and the common people about it, fearing that any inaction on their part at that juncture might cost them and the entire human race dearly. The kings and the common citizens listened to the sane advice of Shanishchara and dismantled the edifice of Ravana's sins. They realized that under the influence of Ravana's diabolism, they become indifferent and insensitive to the physical nature of earth. Ravana, driven by his arrogance and sinful mind, tormented Shanishchara, which caused his hidden sins to surface and his consequent downfall. The Saudagar Mahajans of the present day are following in the footsteps of Ravana. People under their influence fail to discriminate between right and wrong. Like Ravana, these Saudagars have tormented and tortured the poor me, Anubdas, by means of their diabolism. That is how I have come to know about their closely guarded sins. Just as Shanishchara was Teli by caste, I am Chakar, attendant doing menial job by caste. Again, finding me poor, the Saudagar Mahajans made me the victim of their diabolic sins. They dare not touch the rich and the affluent class. Though they are harming everybody by their nefarious activities, Yet it is the poor and mute who have to bear the brunt of their diabolism. I therefore make a fervent plea to all the people of the world to heed my humble advice and fight out the ills and the devious ways of these unscrupulous people, just as the people during Ravana's time heeded the advice of Shanishchara and acted unitedly to rid the world of Ravana's sins. The human beings, the birds, the animals, and all other living beings are the victims of the sins of these Saudagars. The demoniac science practiced by them is causing ruination to the earth in the form of a variety of diseases. Just like a diseased person, Mother Earth has lost her strength and vitality. As human beings need food to fill their belly, Mother Earth needs water. But these days, the rainfall is scanty, which does not quench the thirst of Mother Earth. When Earth gets sufficient water, she gives food and nutrients to all living beings in abundance. But now Mother Earth is incapable of giving sufficient food and nutrients. What wrong has she done? In fact, Mother Earth is such a simple and pious being that she needs only water to survive. She gets water only when it rains. I need not say anything more on it. You can see everything with your own eyes. When the Banias perform their sinful rites, cursing Mother Earth, she becomes ill. When a human being is ill, the intake of food gets reduced. Mother Earth's illness is caused by scanty rainfall. When it is insufficient rainfall, people cry that famine has broken out. They do not know that Earth's illness has been caused by demoniac rites performed by the Banias. God has made a human body with flesh, tissues, bones, etc. God has given these things to Mother Earth as well, but in different forms. The hills are bones, the soil is flesh, and the mines of gold and silver are tissues of Mother Earth. Since the time of Raja Bal, Earth has been visited by famine. The sinful practice of Raja Bal has found its continuity at the hands of the Saudagar Mahajans of the current era. When famine breaks out, Mother Earth becomes sick and loses strength. The vital elements of our body start melting. The continued sickness has sapped the energy and vitality of Mother Earth. As a result, the rich mines of gold and silver, which used to be in abundance in the bygone era, are no more in existence in any country. The demoniac activities of the Banias has deprived Earth of her mines rich with precious metals and minerals. The mines, wherever they are, do not yield their precious metals in a profitable quantity. In fact, the cost of exploration and extraction has become uneconomic. The cost involved is much higher than the value of the yield, so the obnoxious practice of Indrajal has resulted in the shrinking and even disappearance of gold and silver mines. All countries and continents are inhabited on earth, which has become weak and sick thanks to the diabolism of the Saudagar Mahajans. When a man becomes ill, the flesh of his body gets reduced, and so he loses strength and energy and has to depend on others. Mother Earth is sick and has therefore lost her pristine strength and health. The Saudagar Mahajans have picked up the demoniac art from Raja Bal. When they curse Mother Earth by practicing the demoniac rites, famine breaks out. It also causes eclipse. When Mother Earth suffers, she stops producing food grains, etc., and people begin to starve. In the earlier ages, when Mother Earth had not to suffer, she produced food grains, dry fruit, and other nutritive things in abundance, and the poorest among the poor did have enough to eat. And the poorest among the poor did have enough to eat, but now the agricultural production has considerably gone down, and therefore prices have gone up. Mother Earth is not getting water in sufficient quantity, which has adversely affected the production of food and other nutrients. The growth of trees and other vegetation has always been hampered owing to scanty rainfall. Long ago, and even during Raja Bal's time, the production of food grains and nutritive things, as also of vegetation, was in plenty. People did not have to work hard, and yet they got a bounteous harvest. There was no indebtedness even among the poor. The ancient writings are a living testimony to this fact. But in this age, the rulers are not able to feed their own subjects. This is the state of affairs which all of you can see with your own eyes. Now there is shortage of everything which is essential for survival. Earlier, it was not so. There was plenty of nourishing food which everybody, irrespective of his caste or class, could get without much of toiling. And naturally, the kings and the ruling elite had quite enough for themselves and their people. After Raja Bal, the Banyas have started practicing Indrajal, causing pain and suffering to Mother Earth. Earlier, when Mother Earth consumed a great deal of water, the production of nutritive food grains was in abundance, and this fact is mentioned in the ancient sacred texts. The worms or living organisms in our stomachs survive on whatever we eat, and they have not to work hard for earning their food. In the same way, the entire biotic community of animals and plants are like worms in Mother Earth's stomach, surviving on what Mother Earth offers them. Earth is vast enough to feed all the living beings, but for the sinful practice of the Mahajans who have caused enormous harm to Earth's productivity, before Ravana, no such practice was in vogue, nor did anybody know about this sinful practice. It was Ravana who first tried his hand at the diabolic ritual and manipulated eclipses a couple of times. The Banyas are performing this esoteric ritual year after year, resulting in untold suffering to Mother Earth. The almanacs circulated by them make forecast of eclipses every year. As a result, the agricultural productivity has declined sharply. Earlier, people got bounteous harvest even without much of hard work. Since the time of Raja Bal, agricultural productivity has been made the target of the diabolic practice. Now famine and drought are recurring phenomena. If by any chance there is good rainfall in a particular year, the unscrupulous elements upset the digestive system of earth and the entire produce is spoiled. Thus, in spite of a bounteous crop of food grains and fruits, the scarcity continues. People whose sense of judgment has been influenced by the Saudagar Mahajans fail to see the real reason behind it and instead blame the nature. By practicing Indrajal, they are inflicting pain on the animals and killing 84 lakh living organisms, which has serious repercussions on environment. This sinful practice is known to the people as black magic, and its practitioners are called black magicians. They are capable of causing fire on earth by way of their black magic, and millions of living beings are engulfed by the leaping flames. These practitioners of black magic are teaching gullible and credulous people quaint and esoteric practices. For examples, they are told that if they kill an owl and prepare some kind of medicine from its blood, they can win over any woman by putting a few drops of the medicine thus prepared in her eyes, or simply by rubbing it on her clothes. They are only fooling people. In fact, their diabolism knows no end. It is spreading by leaps and bounds. People must try to understand the ill effects of the diabolic rites of the Baniyas. They have destroyed the wisdom of the people by means of their diabolism, and so people have forgotten the virtues of righteousness and compassion. Under their influence, people are indulging in all kinds of sins. It is perfectly alright to worship gods and goddesses in any form and manner, but some people, in the name of performing worship to some deity, sacrifice innocent animals. They are not performing their religious duty by doing so. They are doing the sin of killing animals. In fact, they are not to blame because they have lost their sense of right and wrong under the spell of the demoniac magic. People in different countries have been persuaded to perform the ritual of sacrificing animals in the name of appeasing various gods and goddesses. Whenever and wherever people forget to perform such rituals, they are made ill by the Baniyas by means of their magical rites. Then they are advised to appear their respective deities by performing rituals of sacrificing animals. All the people of the world, including the Hindus, the Muslims, and the Christians, follow their advice and sacrifice animals to appease their respective deities. People fail to realize that they are following the game plan of the Baniyas. They tell people that they have become ill because of the displeasure of a particular deity, and that they will get well only when they will offer a particular animal, a he-goat, for example, to the deity. The person suffering from illness readily follows their advice for the sake of his life. Under the influence of the diabolism of the Baniyas, people performing the ritual of sacrificing animals think that they are only doing a religious act. They do not realize that they are doing a sin. Let me tell you, the people of the world, that it is a sin and not a religious duty to kill animals. You should not torture animals or other living beings. If you see somebody doing so, stop him. Every animal or any other living being has life as all of us have. You must show mercy to all living beings and try to save the life of animals as much as you can. This is a great virtue. But these Baniyas misguide people, including the sadhus and the fakirs, and tell them that it is perfectly a religious act to sacrifice an animal on the altar of their revered gods and goddesses. They, by their sinful influence, would not let people feel pity for the innocent animals chosen for sacrifice. If they still feel mercy for the poor animal, that they can recover from their illness only when, poor animal, they are made sick, and an idea is secretly planted in their minds that they can recover from their illness only when they will perform the ritual of animal sacrifice. When they get cured, they start believing that they were wrong and the ritual is a religious act. They do not realize that it is all the doings of the Mahajans who, like Ravana, have the esoteric rites performed on the 84 lakh kundis and make them ill, and then suggest to the sick person or some members of his family to perform the ritual of animal sacrifice in order to appease their family deity whose displeasure, according to them, had resulted in his illness. After this ritual has been performed, the diabolic rites on the 84 lakh kundis is discontinued and the person gets well. He then starts believing in the efficacy of the dubious ritual and fails to realize that, like Ravana, the Banyas in this age have been practicing diabolism. If only people could get wind of the diabolic plan of the Banyas, they would instantly do something to dismantle it. Unfortunately, the world is completely unaware of their secret designs. The people of the world are sacrificing millions of animals on the altars of their respective deities. Besides, epidemics such as cholera are taking a heavy toll of human lives. Kings and rulers are being asked to sacrifice animals in millions. The strips of the skin of the sacrificed animals are tied to the tender branches of the trees. Those who refuse to do so are made sick, and then they are forced to perform this cruel act. When the torn skin strips hanging from the trees dry up, the trees have to bear a lot of pain. After all, trees too have life, the same way we human beings have. This life force keeps trees and plants verdant. The trees are selfless creatures. They offer fruits and flowers to us human beings without demanding anything in return. Braving scorching sun, they provide shade to other living beings. They provide firewood and precious medicinal herbs to the people of the world. In more ways than one, we have to depend on the generosity of trees and plants. If I am repeating things over and over again, I am doing so only to hammer a point that people under the influence of the diabolism of the trading community fail to realize that all animals, trees, and other animate objects are an integral part of our biosphere. Now, to speak of other creatures, we do not know even about our own body. People are made to believe that evil spirits live in the trees. They drive thick nails into the trees in order to drive out the spirits. They are mistaken. There are no evil spirits inside the trees. This is just a trickery of the Saudagar Mahajans. Even the domain of dreams is not untouched by their diabolic network. We sometimes see a dead person in our dreams. They can, by their magical power, make a fully awake person dream. When in this state, he dreams of a dead person, he thinks that he has seen the ghost of that person. He is then made sick again by the same magical power. Under the influence of the diabolic power, he starts thinking that under a particular tree or somewhere else, a ghost is staying who has made him sick. Then some sadhu or fakir or anybody else is brought under this influence, who declares that the sick person is in the grip of some evil spirit and he can exorcise the spirit. He then suggests that the spirit overtaking the sick person is very powerful and will leave him only when a he-goat is offered to him, the spirit. A he-goat is killed, and the exorcist claims that the sick person is now free from the clutches of the evil spirit, whom he, the exorcist, will nail onto a tree so that the spirit can never visit him again. The sick person too, under the influence of magical power, claims that he has caught hold of the evil spirit and he will now nail him down. In the countries or regions where the scourge of ghosts and evil spirits is rampant, thousands of trees have been damaged by iron nails driven into them. There is no existence of ghosts or evil spirits. It is only the superstition spread by the evil-minded Banyas. The noble trees are unnecessarily being tormented by driving iron nails into them. Also, on the pretext of appeasing gods and goddesses, thousands of innocent animals are being killed. This abominable practice is continuing in several countries and kingdoms. I would appeal to the people of the world to find out which are the countries and regions where innocent animals are being killed and trees and other vegetation are being damaged mercilessly in the name of appeasing gods and goddesses and exorcising evil spirits. The simple and gullible masses who are following such practices are not to blame, since they do not know that it is all due to the diabolism of the Banyas. If they decide to cause death to somebody prematurely by their demoniac rites, then no amount of animal sacrifice can save him. In order to harm the world and its environment, they have been inflicting untold atrocities on the mute animals and plants. So, watch their activities and try to foil their secret designs. The practice of sacrificing animals in the name of propitiating gods and goddesses can, of course, be stopped if some serious effort is made, but striking at the root cause is much more important. Therefore, efforts have to be made to dismantle the sinful rites being performed secretly. Unless this is done, they will continue to cause serious illnesses to people, who in turn will keep on sacrificing the mute animals in order to ward off their fear of being possessed by evil spirits or ghosts. So, my dear brethren, this sinful rite is being performed at a secret place where these Mahajans have built 84 lakh kundis filled with blood and pus. But you people believe that that is the place where heaven and hell exist. So at that secret place, a demoniac rite is performed at the behest of the Banyas and the members of their families. This mystical rite is the same as Ravana performed across the seas. No one else except the Mahajans know about this mystical rites, because that secret place is accessible only to the people of this rich merchant community. With the diabolic power of their secret ritual, they have been able to spread all kinds of superstitious beliefs among the people of the world. Afraid of the evil spirits, people are sacrificing animals to propitiate gods and goddesses, and in this way, millions of innocent animals are being killed. Evil spirits and ghosts are nothing but the creation of the Mahajans. With the demoniac power, they can make people dream even during daytime. Even the departed souls appear in their dreams. It is all due to the influence of the sinful rites. Ravana was first to engineer such dreams or nightmares. This is nothing but a mere magical feat, almost similar to the tricks of a street juggler who turns a pebble into a coin. These unscrupulous people have acquired demoniac power to harm whomsoever they want to. They can curse an individual, a country, a continent, or for that matter, the entire world at their will. They are tormenting innocent men, animals, and other living beings. This sinful rite is known by different names such as Indrajal, black magic, Kafir Vidya, the science of the infidels, etc. The purpose of giving different names to this sinful practice is to confuse people who do not know that in the past, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Karun and others practiced it to force their will on the people during their respective periods. But these Banyas have gone much further in their evil designs. They keep their activities a closely guarded secret. Earlier, I too was confused and did not know about their sin, because then I had not experienced torture at their hands. Now that I have undergone a lot of pain and torture, I can write about what I have experienced. They have perpetrated the worst kind of wickedness. I am therefore repeatedly warning you to beware of their nefarious designs. They are harming the world and its people. I have come to know of their secret sins, and I want to tell you about it. You are seeing with your own eyes the havoc that they have played with the world. You can ascertain from the various kingdoms and principalities which have borne the brunt of their secret operations, and you will find that they have caused a lot of harassment to many old men and women by describing them as ogres and ogresses. Even in small village, between 50s and 100 old men and women have been declared as monsters. In big cities, the number is much higher. Thus, the aged persons who should have been respected and venerated are given a bad name so that people could be instigated to kill them. The Banyas are causing a variety of serious diseases by their demoniac magic and blaming the old persons for people's suffering by describing them as witches and hags. They secretly inject a kind of feeling in the old persons who start believing that they are really ogres and ogresses. They themselves tell others that they are monsters and vampires. They do so under the influence of the demoniac power of the Banyas. Instead of accepting whatever they say, we have to think how it is possible for a person, old and decrepit, sitting at a distance or even at close quarter, to eat up the heart of the other person even without moving his hand. But these Banyas instill such horrendous ideas in the minds of the people so that they will fight and kill each other. Then they will have the absolute control over the rich resources of the world. The practice of torturing and killing old men and women, branded as monsters, and has somewhat declined since the advent of the Britishers. They have stopped this practice openly because they are afraid that the Britishers will soon understand their game plan and expose them. But secretly and in some other form, they are still causing pain and suffering to the people by their mystical power, with the result that people are getting ill and dying at a very young age. Ravana had set an unfavorable combination of planets to bring misfortune to the world, and the poor and the helpless people who were held responsible for that were tortured at the hands of others. Similarly, those Mahajans are getting the old men and women killed by branding them as monsters. So the people of the world, I want you to think over it seriously. You know, when people came to know about the evil deeds of Ravana, they killed him and wiped out his entire clan. Those who possess demoniac power can control the rain and even death and can do anything at their will. If we do not make efforts to meet their challenge, then this life is not worth living. Everyone in this world has been blessed with the full span of life, and accordingly death should come to all at a very ripe age. But the Banyas, like Ravana, have controlled death. Earlier, a son never died before his father, but now a son dies even when his father is still alive. Why is it so? God, the Almighty, is still the same, but these Banias have indulged in sinful acts and the consequences are obvious. The people of the bygone ages were pious souls. They were deeply religious. They were God incarnates. See, how are the people of the present age showing reverence to them? By sacrificing he-goats and other animals at their holy shrines. This is not a religious act, but a sin committed by them. By committing this sin, they are only bringing bad name to the pious souls. If people want to show respect to them and their shrines, they should do good to others and offer them or your own children sweets and delicious food. If some pious soul had been born in your family, do some good in his name and offer food to Brahmins or Sadhus and others. Do not torture any animal or other living beings. People whose sense of judgment has been destroyed by the Banias commit this sin. They cannot discriminate between right and wrong and between the virtuous and the vicious. If somebody tries to stop them from killing animals, they become wild with rage. They would not listen to a sane advice. They don't feel motivated to do such things as would make others happy and please God. They are more easily inclined to do something which is sinful. Devoid of right thinking under the demoniac influence of the Banias, they do not realize that they are doing something wrong. Because of their sins, they are deprived of children. God is merciful to all alike and has blessed everybody with children. It is their sins which are responsible for their remaining childless. In the Satyuga, no one was childless. The present phase in which some people are deprived of the happiness of having children is due to the diabolism of the Banias. Those men or women who do not have children are advised by them to offer a he-goat or any other animal to some god or goddess. When they follow their advice and kill the animal to propitiate the god or the goddess, and a child is born to them, they start believing that they have been blessed with a child because they had sacrificed an animal in the name of their family deity. If, on the other hand, no child is born to them in spite of their sacrificing an animal, they begin to blame their fate. They will have only a deaf ear to turn to any sensible advice as long as they are under the influence of demoniac hold of these unscrupulous people. They are committing sin by sacrificing an animal, but they think that they are performing a religious act. They fail to understand that by perpetuating this sin, they will only be losing their existing offspring. They should desist from this and do some truly religious act. Ravana used his demoniac power to make people follow his plan. He prompted people to perform animal sacrifice and desecrated gods and goddesses by throwing bones, etc. on them. He made people sick and told them that gods are displeased with them and asked them to propitiate these gods with bones of animals. The Banias of the present era have gone far beyond. They have persuaded people to sacrifice animals and offer their blood and bones to different gods and goddesses. They themselves are performing their sinful rites secretly somewhere in the seas. By their mystical rites, they have fuddled the minds of the people who are indulging in all kinds of abominable activities, including animal sacrifice and exorcism. As a result, innumerable problems have cropped up.